What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the ARC podcast. If you are new, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. This is the Athletes Resilience Center podcast, and on this week's episode, we have on special guest Shawn Semple. Shawn Semple is a right-handed pitcher who is currently playing independent baseball. Shawn played with both Matt and I in travel baseball in high school. We actually played against him in high school as well, and Shawn was a no-brainer to have on the podcast. He's always been a guy that when any obstacles have come his way, he's overcome. He talks about his struggle with weight when he was younger and how he overcame that. And then going into high school, he was getting some interest as he began to throw harder. And then he actually had to get Tommy John surgery, and all of his offers kind of disappeared. And there's some interesting stories there that I'll let you listen to later. But he ended up playing at the University of New Orleans and then got drafted by the Yankees out of college from there. And now he's currently making his way back, still with the hopes of making it to the big leagues. And, with everything we discussed today, you'll see the kind of mindset that he has. He talks a bunch about all the obstacles that he had to overcome, really showcasing his resilient mindset. We're very appreciative to have Shawn on, and it was a really cool episode, and glad we get to share it with you guys. So thank you for tuning in, and enjoy the episode. What's up, Shawn? Thanks for coming on. How we doing, man?
Doing good. How we doing?
Good, man. Thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
I appreciate to be here, man. I really do.
Awesome. We'll get right into it. So just like we start every other episode when we have a guest, I'll kick it back to you and basically just share with us your story about how you got to where you are today.
Yeah. Shawn Semple. I'm from Swedesboro, New Jersey, but I ended up going up to high school in Haddonfield, New Jersey at Paul Six. And so in that journey, man, I played baseball my whole life. It was always sports, love sports, every single sport. Um, But then as soon as I got to high school, it was all about trying to play at the next level. I wanted to play on varsity, but in that process, man, it was a lot of baseball growing up. Grew up a little pretty overweight, so it was really trying to get out of that shell. And when I was middle school or so, I had a coach like tell me, "Hey, like you're not gonna play. Like you're overweight. You're not athletic." And like I was athletic, but exactly I was big, and that was my fallback. But like I at a young age was able to take that and let it fuel me to want to be a better baseball player, lose my weight. And in that journey, I left that team, went and played on another team, and ended up playing with Frank and with you guys and with Bulldogs and it was gosh, was it the what was it before that? The Stars. We were
Northeast
Stars
Stars.
and
Yeah.
Bulldogs. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I mean those years right there were like what made me love baseball because I told myself at a young age like I was gonna let someone tell me what I can do. And I met Frank, met Bussy, Sean Bussy, and like that right there changed my life of like being able to get in shape, being able to learn how to really play the game of baseball the right way and the mentality a little bit more of mentality than just normal, get up there and pitch. And that right there just kind of jump started everything I wanted to do. Junior year, sophomore year, junior year played varsity, was able to pitch, but junior year got Tommy John, and I think it was just from overuse. I mean, it was a big bump of velocity over a year as well. It was like almost like 13, 15 mile an hour jump. So it was really like, it made sense why it could happen. But again, like before, I didn't allow that to stop me. And my dream at the time was just play college baseball. I was about to be signed to go play Radford University, and I had some schools reaching out to me, and like D1 schools going to play, and then that kind of all went away, and it was, hey, I gotta get back to the grind. Do I want to do this or do I not? And obviously I did, and attacked the rehab, attacked it all. I was back in 9, 10 months and was able to be all conference in my senior year at Paul Six. And that right there was able to get the attention. Then I went down to University of New Orleans. Um, First 2 years, just able to pitch. Like it wasn't like the strongest numbers, but it was just being able to develop, play against better talent, uh, learn who I was on the mound. And I was a guy who just threw strikes. I was rarely in the zone, didn't walk much, but I had a good fastball. But also was coming back from the Tommy John still, so it was still like building back up. But that junior year of college, they brought in a really good pitching coach. His name's Rudy Darrow, and he got our ass in shape. Like he made us do cut sprints all the time. He's like, this is gonna suck. Like told us right in the beginning, like this is gonna suck. I know it. Like beat tired every day, but it got my legs in shape and I got explosive. And I started throwing harder than I ever threw before and started striking out the world.
Yeah.
Every time I got in there, it was like 10 strikeouts or like that, or I'm not happy.
Yeah.
And I mean, that right there, I was able to get drafted in the 11th round by the Yankees in 2017. And it was just the next step. It was like, all right, I can't believe I'm here. Like, it was always like varsity baseball, then it was college baseball, then it was, holy crap, I'm getting drafted.
Yeah.
Now I'm drafted and I walk in and there's 18-year-old kids throwing 100 miles an hour and I'm just, fresh out of high school or fresh out of college and these kids are younger than me and I'm like, I got to compete against this again, just repeating just in my life. Like I didn't let that scare me, and I just kept working. And they developed me really well. They were able to really help me with my fastball, learn some new pitches. But with that, I got all the way up to Triple A, but the Triple A numbers weren't great. Got up to Double A. I had my fair share of good time in Double A, but I've had my time where it wasn't that good either, in my opinion. Played all the way till about 23, I think 22 or 23, where I got released by the Yankees, picked up by Seattle. But it was a time where I had freshly gone through a bad breakup. I had um, mechanics were just not there. I wasn't trusting them. I wasn't trusting myself. I wasn't able to just grip and rip the fastball like I did in like my prime years of being in the minor leagues with the Yankees when it was like right fresh from COVID. I think that 21 year was like I could just rip through the zone, strike anyone out I wanted, like anyone. It didn't matter who was in the box. I was confident I was going to get them out. And then it just like tried to just do too much, try to throw harder, and mechanics just kind of went. And like for 2 years, I was just trying to find that. So like now here I am now. Last year I played independent ball, and it started off like well, but again, just not great. Last off season, I would be at BPC, and I think the top velocity that I got was like 91.7, which is not. I'm not happy with that. Like,
Yeah.
major league guys are averaging like 93 at this
Yeah.
point. So, and if I want to get picked up and have it shot, I got to show those numbers. And I've never been a guy who like throws hard inside, but I said, F it. Like, I'm going to learn how to. I'm going to learn how to do it. And that's exactly what I did this year after finding it again in the middle of last year. But to add on the last year, started well, and then I got hurt, pulled my back, and really just like was at a point where it was like, do I keep playing or what do I do? And I was able to come back and heal, feel better, and that then and there. I got back into games like 3 weeks after, and all of a sudden I was like 94, 95. To 96, and this is like still not comfortable with it, but I was
Yeah.
getting to it and I was feeling good. And I think it was just like the lessening of the workouts and just really being an athlete and really working on the plyometrics and the correctives and like stretching my hips like
Yeah.
very very like strictly and
Yeah.
doing it every day, which I like do every single day. And I told myself going into this off season I was just gonna attack it. I was gonna note it. I was gonna write my own programs, my throwing programs, my lifting. I was gonna eat. I was gonna sleep, and that's what I did. I just did it all myself, and like sitting 94 right now, and I'm able to just trust the fastball ripping through the zone like I've always used to do. And it's just crazy how it works. Like I'm 29 now. I got drafted when I was, gosh, like 22. I think I was 22. But like a lot of time has gone by, and like it's insane how I feel stronger and better than I ever have felt in my entire career. And it just goes back to like just simplifying it, and like you're like what you guys do with the mental game. It's a big part of it as well. Really just keeping that structured in my program every single day of not letting the like things I can't control beat me down, and just doing anything I can to just get a little bit better every day.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. And you got a great story. I mean, Matt and I got to witness a lot of it firsthand. So, like, playing with you and, plane travel, watching you throw, like, you were in my conference in high school and I got to watch you pitch. Like, just knowing you and your work ethic, like, knowing the amount of work that you put in high school, man, and then going into college, like, I commend you for that because it was intense coming back from injury. But you mentioned in the very beginning, like bringing it all the way back, battling some weight problems at one point and being told like you're not going to be able to play at this weight, and that kind of giving you that motivation, that fire to be like, all right, I'm gonna get in the shape that I want to be in so I can go out and perform and play the way I want. How do you, as a young kid at that time, I guess, shift your mindset like that? Because I feel like a lot of us, and we've talked to a lot of people, we've played with a lot of people. One, they don't face their first bout of adversity until they get to college or the professional ranks. And two, like as a 14-year-old kid, or however old you are, late middle school, early high school, like a lot of kids at that point would probably quit or be like, screw this guy, I'm gonna stay like the same way I am. Like what I guess what mindset did you have at that point that it's like this clicked, this is gonna light a fire under my ass so I can go do what I want to do?
It was like I remember I was in Shamong. That's where
Yeah,
I was. I was in a backfield over there, and it was like immediately it was like, why am I was like, I think I asked the coach like, am I gonna get in? Or they're like, no, like I'm sorry, like you're not. Like it just comes down to this. Like these guys are like we're trying to win. Like
yeah,
and that alone was like, okay, I get it. Like you're trying to win. And I was pretty beat, was tired, like all that day, like right after that game, and I started walking to the car, not having any clue, and then Danny Williams, his mom, Teresa Williams, came up to me and was like, "You ain't gonna like, do not let that coach tell you that you're gonna be done. Like
yeah,
you're gonna go play." And if anything, I give the credit to her. She was like, you're gonna be an awesome baseball player. Whatever you do, like you go play, you go find a team that you're gonna go like play where you're gonna have fun." And that's exactly what I did. I went and played with a team in that fall, and I don't think we won that much. It wasn't a good team, but it was out of like Swedesboro area.
yeah,
And then that next summer was when I started playing with Frank, and it's just funny how things work like that. Of like just trusting it, like trusting the process. Like it's so cliche, but like it's so true. If she didn't tell me that, like, and I think because it was another parent, I was like, why is this parent
yeah,
telling me this? Like if it was my mom or, yeah, I might have listened still, but like for her to come up to me and do that and like sit me down one on one was like, and she was mentioning like, God's got a plan for you and all that, and that was so powerful to me, and I'll
yeah,
never ever forget that. And like, but I would say like that was kind of the reason that like helped me get through that. I think she was such a big point, and it's just funny how like I didn't really play with Danny that much. I only played with him for like a little bit,
yeah,
but for her to just be there on that day, it's just people. God puts people in place in certain places for you, and she was there place for me that day. And it's funny because like I played like Timber Creek in high school and would play. against Danny, and you'd hear her, "Let's go, Sean," and they'd be like, and we're at Timber Creek, and they'd be like, "Yo, Danny, your mom, what is your mom doing?" But but that's who she was. Like, she's just such an incredible person, and I probably should reach out to her one of these days because she really, and I have, like, I remember when I was in college, or maybe even like getting drafted, like being like, I appreciate you, like, telling me to keep going and do that. But like as a young kid, like we're coaches, like being that person to be able to do that, to be able to talk to the kid and be able to understand what's going on and how you can either just quit or you can get better. And she kind of gave me that little fuel to, like, you're gonna be great. Like, you're gonna do what you need to do, and you're gonna keep playing. Like, just go do it on your own. Don't just get out of here and find the right spot. And that's what it is for a lot of guys. It's funny, like, how that comes up. It's like guys trying to go play in college. Like, you want to go play somewhere that you're gonna play, where you're gonna be wanted to play, where they invest in you instead of, oh, I want to go play at this big time college, but I'm going to ride the pine for 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah, and everything happens for a reason. And I think us as athletes, and especially as young athletes, if you have one person that believes in you, even at a time when you might not believe in yourself, that's the world. And
Hmm.
like you said, it was an adult who you didn't really have a super close relationship with previously, but just that statement sticks with you forever. Like,
Hmm.
it's incredible. It's
It
awesome.
sure is.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. We talked about this with someone else we had on, Hayden Sieg, and he said same thing. Like, when you have someone in your corner that just believes in you, even when you're struggling and going through something, that gives you more fire to be like, all right, I'm gonna get through this, and I'm gonna do this because I have people in my corner that support me, that know that I can do this. And it kind of makes you start to believe in yourself a little bit. It's like, all right, well, if they can believe in me, like, why can't I believe in myself? You
Yep.
know?
And it all comes down to that. It's just being confident in yourself and whatever you do, knowing that you put the work in. So now it's time to just go and do it.
Yeah, and then that leads into like your story journey goes into high school when you end up getting Tommy John surgery, right? And I think a tough thing knowing you at that time and playing with you and like seeing you in the facility, like when we're all working out together and stuff, like you said you were signed at that point, right? Like right before TJ?
I was like, I had gone to Radford University, and I was like, I checked it all out. I went to like a showcase and touched some good numbers, and they were like, totally, like, we want you.
Yeah.
And then and then boom. I mean, I was a junior too, so obviously I had another year.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know how everyone was and how that journey is. It's madness. It's like
Yeah.
everyone wants to just sign and say they're
Of
going
course.
somewhere.
Yeah. No, but I mean, watching you go through that, even in high school, like you took that with such maturity at a time where, like, honestly, I think at that point in my career, Matt's career potentially, like, I don't know how we would have bounced back from that moment. You know what I mean? Like, because that was such a, you're at the peak of your athletic career at that point, and it's like I'm getting everything that I worked my butt for, right? And
Hmm.
then just like that, you get injured, and then it's all taken away from you. And I watched firsthand. We played Bulldogs our like senior year of high school, even
It
that
went to
summer
Virginia
going into
Tech.
college. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And we like, you were working your ass off to get to where you needed to be. And I remember seeing you, it'd be like every time I watched you throw, you were like throwing a little bit harder, throwing a little bit harder, throwing a little bit harder, and it was like you finally got to the point where it's like, all right, I'm back even better than I was before Tommy John. But
Hmm.
again, I guess I have a two-part question. One, did that adversity that you faced as like a middle schooler, being told like you're not going to play and whatever, you're too big, did that help you overcome this Tommy John in high school? And then what was your mindset afterward? Because I'm sure obviously you get the news, you're really upset, and then what was the thought process after that? Was it, all right, let's make a plan and let's get this shit done, or was it a little bit more like I'm gonna need a little bit of time to kind of cope with this and understand how it goes? Like,
Yeah.
what was your outlet?
Good question. I mean, the thing is too, when that happened, it was like I'm trying to think. So just at the feeling at the peak, feeling good,
Yeah.
and it just on. I need you to ask that first part of the again.
Well, the first part was just when you were in middle school and you dealt with your first
Oh
adversity.
yes,
Did
yeah,
that kind of set you up to be prepared for a moment like this? Even though obviously the
absolutely.
Tommy John's a much bigger stakes injury, but
Hmm.
like it did it help you kind of prepare for that moment?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I feel like just because I had that one time of like, oh, I've had that adversity younger in my career, like I could do it again. But again, it was like the support. It's the people around me. It was my mom, my family, people being like, yeah, you have worked your ass off to get where you are right now in junior year. And like it was like a slight tear. So like I tried pitching another game on it and I was like, okay, like something's up.
Yeah,
And it sucked. I was like I can't believe that this is happening.
yeah,
And and it was just like people were signing, people were doing this, people were doing that. And but it is what it is. It happened. And again, like that this Tommy John surgery had adversity, but it made me stronger. It was like the next step, you know? It was like getting told that I'm not good enough. And then it was getting injured after working hard. And so basically, the week after, or like a couple days after, I was like, hey, something is up. I went and saw a doctor. His name's Dr. John Huffman at Penn University. And they got me in quick. I got a MRI with a dye in it, and he got right back to me, and he's like, "Yo, I'm gonna be honest with you. Slightly torn. You either can rehab it, and it's not gonna feel the same in a year, or you get Tommy John surgery." Fully reconstructed, and you go through the rehab, and it could come back throwing harder. You could be stronger, and you go through. And the thing is, though, it comes with the rehab. The
yeah,
rehab's where you get stronger through it. You learn your body. So I was like, let's do it. He's like, I can get you in next week. I was like, let's do it.
yeah,
Like it was immediate. Like
yeah,
it was maybe 2 weeks after I had torn it. I was already had surgery planned, and I think I got that on May. I don't know. It was like May 13th, or that was the day it happened. I think that was the day it happened. But I was able to get it done. I mean, I did my PT over at in Cherry Hill, and I just stayed in baseball. I kept work. I kept doing whatever I needed to do. But no, it that middle school adversity, I think that's what helped me get through the second one. Just
yeah,
knowing it, being confident that I can get through it. And there was people also who like who didn't think that either too. It just was part of it. But I was ready to attack it, and it's exactly what I did. And it definitely came back stronger. I learned my body. I learned way more. And it wasn't like I was like on back to me feeling me after a year. It took like two years to really like feel back to like strength of like my arm strength and all. But that's also comes with like in college. I wasn't throwing as much as like in high school too. I wasn't throwing every day, and I wasn't in a routine like I am now. But
Mhm.
totally, me as a kid hearing going through that had helped me grow into a guy who was ready to do that because I was already working hard. It was like, all right, why don't I do it more?
yeah,
Why would I stop now? I'm young. Like, let's play baseball. Well, people have gotten through Tommy John before, and it was cool actually. A pitcher, his name's Andrew Bailey.
yeah,
He went to Paul Six, and
yep.
he played with the Athletics. He played with the Phillies for a little bit. Now he's a pitching coach for the Red Sox. He called me. He was like, "Yo, keep going, keep doing it."
That's
It was
awesome.
really
That's
cool. Like
amazing.
he had reached out to me, and just just was able to keep working. That's what and that's all I knew. That's all I knew, and that's all I wanted. I wanted it so bad, and that enough allowed me to just keep chipping away day by day, wearing my elbow brace to make sure I was getting the flexibility back. And
Yeah,
because you get a lot of guys who have Tommy John, they still don't have like their entire flexion, and
yeah,
mine's like mine's good, like it's
yeah,
really good, and people are like, how? And then they have these giant scars, and I have this like little itty bitty one, so like everyone makes fun of my scar. But it's cool. It's cool. And then I give all the shout out to Dr. John Huffman at Penn, because you hear these doctors like out in Texas and New York, and that all these big leaguers go to, like but I went to a guy who was at Penn, and he gave it to me straight, and I got it done with, and moved on to the net, and it helped me just propel into the next period of my baseball career.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I think, we kind of touched upon the college, you end up at UNO, you kind of have the interest from Radford and everything. We named Virginia Tech already, like in there, kind of like that saga and everything, right? Can you walk us through from that moment with Radford, it kind of going away, up into you signing at UNO? Walk us through that summer,
Yeah.
because from our perspective, that was a super unique summer. We get to see you pop up, pitch, and people are like, "Oh yeah, we like this guy," and then
Yeah.
we go to the next place and we're like, "Where are you at with this guy? Where are you at with this school?" And then like you end up at UNO, and it's kind of like a buzzer beater signing too at the same
Yeah.
time.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Kind
Last
of walk us
minute.
through
You couldn't
that.
say it better. Buzzer beater is literally the exact word. But yeah, man. So like I was getting interest from definitely a lot from Radford, and it just I got hurt, and it was like, hey, best of luck. And they also got like new coaches, and it just comes down to no one's gonna sign a guy that just got injured. And it makes sense. I get it. Like it's business at the end of the day. It's the kid they want to bring in good talent, they want to bring in healthy guys. So that entire summer was like, all right, let's figure it out. Let's figure out where we're gonna go. Started reaching out to more schools, and I actually was gonna go to JMU as a
Yeah.
walk on.
Yeah.
Remember that.
Yeah, so I was just, still throwing, still trying to get back, feeling it. But, I was signed, application was done. I had my housing. I had my roommate at a guy,
Wow.
I had room, or I was going to room with a guy I went to school with at Paul Six. And they, we were at Virginia Tech, and the JMU coach was there, and he's like, hey, man, like the guy came back. There's no walk on spot. So, like,
No.
I was, and it was after I threw, and I threw pretty well. I think I had touched
Hmm.
90, like showed just that I'm back and strong. And I was like hype after. Then after he was like, yeah, like we don't. I'm sorry. And it was just like, ugh, like what the hell, like can it just work? I just had like a full on graduation party wearing a JMU shirt the whole time, and yeah,
Jeez.
it was nuts.
No.
Yeah, but um that same day, my uncle, or Matt Still's
Yep.
dad,
Yep.
yeah, he knew someone who knew the pitching coach at UNO at the time.
Yeah.
So he sent them my video from there at Virginia Tech, and they were like, "We like what we see. We could give him money for 1 year to come down here, and like we'll talk about the 3 years after
Yeah.
that. And just we need an arm, like we need a righty." And so like that next week, I get flown down to UNO to check out the campus, all this, all that, and I was like, I- I'll commit right now. I'm here,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's what happened. It was like, and then I left maybe a week later because school started like was starting in like 2 weeks, so I had to go down there and do all my paperwork and get all my classes, and it was literally a buzzer beater signing, literally like a week and a half before school started at UNO, and people had known they were going there for 2 years, for a year, and like I only knew I was going there for literally a freaking month, and I signed and I went, and it was the best decision I ever made because I went down there, and I mean, the rest is history. I was able to win, being like a Friday night starter
Yeah.
and just
That's awesome.
building off of that. But yeah, that summer was crazy. It was a lot of unknowing, but again, like I was built for that. I've been through
Hmm.
the adversity when I was younger. It had the Tommy John, and like I had to expect things like that to happen because it Tommy John wasn't expected either. So it was a hell of a summer, but I'll never forget it. But I mean, it shaped me who I was. So when I got the UNO, it was like, all right, I'm here, and it's almost kind of like a settling feeling, but like also like I have to work more because I'm a freshman and I need to show why I'm here.
Yeah, man, that's a hell of a journey.
Yeah. Well, I was about to go. I was like after JMU, it was like told me that it was like also maybe RCGC,
Mhm.
Yeah.
like and it was like I'll probably go there, but then UNO really came through.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I mean, it's crazy. Like we got a front row seat of your journey throughout that time and everything. It was like every single year, it felt like it was just something else and everything. But like you said, just kept persevering like through it. So once you end up at UNO, right? Like obviously we talked a little bit about it was to be a varsity athlete, then it's to go and play college baseball. Now you're playing college baseball, right? Like
Mhm.
when did it become real for you that that next stop is the MLB draft to play minor league baseball, to have the big league dream? When did that kind of settle in for you, kind of being through all you had been through, and then now you're at UNO?
I would probably say like junior year, and like it's not like I thought about it and stuff like that, but I think that was always the dreams. Like I want to do this, like
Yeah.
playing the show with buddies and at campus and all. And it was like I started throwing hard. Like I started throwing like consistently like 91, 92, touched like a 94 on a scout day or during junior year. And then I started getting questionnaires and it was like, whoa, like
Yeah.
this is happening. I was like, and then one turned into like 10, then it turned into like 20, and then it was
Yeah.
like almost 30 different questionnaires. And I was like, whoa, like we'll see what happens. But it was just I still had to go out there and do my thing. But like that also gave me the confidence is like people are watching me and I gotta show. And I'm a Friday night guy and I have to go out there and do what I do. And I mean, like I said, we had a pitching coach come in who got us like into great shape. And I
Yeah.
was able to just like when I was in my prime, like how I feel now, when I was in my summers minor leagues feeling my best. It was just a point of like getting my foot down and ripping just everything through the zone, trusting it, but like with fire.
Yeah.
And I was able to get up. I think I got up to 95 that year, which is, great. But like it was always like it was like, yo, Shawn, you touched 95 today. I was like, no way. Like what? Like that's nuts. Like the craziest thing I ever. I'm like, and I was like, might actually do this. Ended up obviously I got signed and but yeah, it was probably not until my junior year the questionnaires came and then it kind of
Yeah.
got a little real.
That's awesome.
That's great. And then you transition from college into pro ball, right? Like obviously we all know college, you're a student athlete, you're going to class and then playing as well. Then you get drafted and then that's your job, right? Like it's a business and that's the pro side. And obviously your day to day is going to look a lot different, but mentally speaking, how do you switch from hey, I'm playing in college, you're also, the Friday night guy, right? You're the guy. You're the guy at your school. And now like you said, you go get drafted by the Yankees, you go to the minors, and you're looking at kids that are 18 that are throwing 100, and you're like, what the heck? Like, where did you guys come from? So,
Yeah.
how do you switch that mentally going from like one, I was the guy, and now you're kind of back, not on the low end of the totem pole, but it's like I kind of got to build my way back up again to get there.
It was just like getting there that cuz we got there like after the college season and it
Yeah,
started like I think it was like June, July time. So we got there and it was immediately like just they didn't mess with us or anything. We just went and played. And we played in like the rookie ball season and just getting reps there. Like obviously my first one, I was like, this is a lot of adrenaline. But I went one, two, three, and I did really well. And it was just like, maybe I can compete here or I can compete here. And then it was just every single time getting up there. Like my first year of rookie ball, I think I had 20 innings and it was only like one inning a week. That's it
yeah,
because we
yeah,
had thrown so much during the college season that
yep,
they like didn't want us to throw a lot. So me and my buddy Ron Marinaccio were like the
yeah,
closers and we both went like perfect in any save opportunity or if we needed to like if we were tied like we went out there and put up a zero
yeah,
That's awesome.
and we went like 20 innings with like sub sub 1 ERAs, and I walked one guy, and like
That's
I was the
awesome.
guy who clinched it for us to go to to the playoffs. And I was the guy who closed the whole thing out too, and it was like,
Yeah.
but it was just crazy how it all happened because it's like we just won a championship, and it's like us new college kids plus like 17-year-olds and 18-year-olds, like we're
Yeah.
popping like apple cider, and we didn't have beer or anything like that. But it was like, you know what? My fastball plays. It was a really good year. I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna get refreshed. I started, doing my workouts and stuff, and it was not as routine and as fine detail as it is now, but it was my venture of getting into like what's my off season look like as for me being my job being a baseball player. But I wish I knew what I knew now, man, because
Yeah.
at that point I still wasn't doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like we're always growing, and that's why now you coach, right? Like you can give the knowledge that you gain back to other people who are trying to go through the same process as you. And I think a big piece of that, like you said, is routine, your preparation, like getting ready every day, basically. I know right before we started this, we were talking about your mental prep every day, scheduling out what you're going to do for the day, kind of your plan of attack.
Mhm.
So, can you share with us some of your like mental skills that you've kind of developed throughout your time in pro ball? Because like obviously on like you don't necessarily need to be like I'm really good with breath work or like meditating, but
Yeah,
on the side of like scheduling and having a routine, I think that's very mentally important because if you don't have a plan of attack every day, how are you going to get any better?
yeah,
So what kind of practices have you been able to implement so far throughout your professional career that's helped you?
yeah. So, like, like I wish I known everything I knew now and like earlier in my career because I would have implemented the stuff I do for the last 2 years into it, and that is after I worked with the Brian Kane mental
Yeah,
psychology group. It was it was like kind of hitting it like right on. Like I was podcasts, journals, breath work, all of it,
yeah,
closing my eyes, mental work, all that stuff, and like all of it's good. Like I don't, not saying like I don't do it because it's like not a good thing, but like things that I've learned and I kept from there would be as simple as like putting everything I need to do for the month on my calendar and having my reminders ready for the day before and my lessons and my what time I need to be at workouts and what kind of workout is it that day and what are the reps and like everything is all together, and it takes a bit to get that scheduled out, but like once I got into the off season it's like I bought a calendar I put on my wall and I got my entire month up there, and it's like wake up, look at my calendar, make my bed, pack up, eat breakfast, like immediately eat breakfast. Always like if I'm not eating in the morning, then I'm losing calories. I
yeah,
need to eat. I need to maintain. That's a big thing of what I was doing this off season was it's a whole different holistic look of being an athlete. It's like that look of Patrick Mahomes got like the dad bod look.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
that's the baseball athletic build. And like it's not being too big and strong. It's about being like loose and functional and all that. So I made it a rule for me to as soon as I get my breakfast in, I get to the facility, um, correctives every day. Something that I need to work on, whether it's my hips, arm action, stuff like that. Then it gets into throwing. And this is every day, like
yeah,
Monday through Friday. Then it gets into throwing, and then if it's a day I work out, I hit my workout, and I work out 3 times a week. Used to be four, but three is like my perfect spot with the one day specifically for running. And then after that, I always go to Pancheros, get myself a burrito.
yeah.
I have gotten so many burritos this off season. The guy's like, "Do you go anywhere else?" I'm like, "No." I mean, it just I need that food. So, in the morning, I also make a shake that I bring with me to the facility. So when I'm done, drink my shake. Usually in that time in the car, I listen to a lot of Christian music. I listen like I trust me, I love Future. I love I love my bangers, man. But something about the Christian music keeps me super positive. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
not something about it, but it is positive. It keeps me so positive and just like going to and from. And it's not like I listen to it all the time. I'll listen to whatever's new, whatever it is. But whenever I'm not feeling it, or when I'm sometimes just like I throw that on and I'm back right to it. um Brian Kane mental podcast, man, like they're great. There's so many different ones. There's Brian Johnson with Heroic, he's another good one. um at like even Christian podcasts of just learn a little bit more, exploring that, but just doing something every day to just expand my mind and like learn more. And I'm also in school, so I always like have when I get to the next facility for my lessons, get some schoolwork done, and then it's lessons, and then I head home and eat, shower, relax, and get to bed by a reasonable time and do it all over again. But I used to like write out my schedule and stuff like that, but now it's like it's just part of what I do. And like
Yeah.
once I get to the season, it'll look more like this. It'll be like wake up. If I have to go lift, go lift. But if not, just get up at a reasonable time, go get some coffee, go move around, maybe go walk. I might go shoot some golf balls or something, just to go do something, be
Yeah.
fresh. Like, because sometimes guys can just wake up and go to the field, and like that, it's just not a good way to start your day. But then you get to the field, throw, same stuff, man. Eating, correctives, and it all turns into days that I start day after, just recovery. It just resets the whole week, and it's just back to the same routine every one day through five, 1 through 5.
Yeah, I love the reference to the music because I again same thing. I love a good banger every now and
Yeah,
then, but I completely agree with you on the having music that kind of brings you back to neutral and puts you back where you need to be. Like I am a big proponent of I listen to like soundtracks for movies sometimes. Like I'll just throw it on. Like the one big one I always go back to, which is might sound stupid, but it's from Moneyball. It's the Mighty Rio Grande. It's called, and it's like I don't know. It's long, and it literally just kind of I don't know what it does for me, but it just brings me back. Like if I'm not feeling motivated or like determined about something, I just throw that on, and it like puts me back in a mode where I know I can go get stuff done. It's like it's a really good reset, and I really appreciate like the music aspect of that. That's
yeah,
really cool.
music's a big part of it, man. And like it was always like like Christian music,
Yeah, yeah,
it's like but that's another big thing that I really dove into like the last 3 years of my life. It's like I went to Catholic school. I've always had a relationship with God, but it was
yeah.
like really, really strengthening it. Or even if like you're not a Christian, it's just finding something that you believe in and you finding the relationship with that. Whether you believe in the universe, whether you believe in just something. It's just finding that relationship and just trusting in it that it's you're not doing this alone.
Thank you for listening to the ARC podcast. This episode is sponsored by the Philly Pretzel Factory of Marlton, located on North Maple Ave in Marlton, New Jersey.
Tell them Matt and Brandon sent you. We appreciate all your support. Thank you for listening, and back to the podcast. That's awesome. I mean, my family knows me. I'm the playlist guy, so like I can definitely I definitely want to chime in on that one. I got a playlist called Power of Positivity. I'm also the guy in my family that shares a playlist with people depending on how I think they're feeling or how I'm feeling or whatnot, so they know. If I know they're down, I'm like, hey man, throw this on real quick. You
Yeah.
pick up real quick.
Oh yeah.
So
I mean, there's days I walk into the gym and I'm like, oh, I don't
Yeah,
want to do this. But then here comes like Linkin Park and like
uh-huh.
heavy rock, and that's just like yes,
yeah.
snaps me back into it.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about just kind of how that's progressed for you, right? Obviously, let's kind of go from your first year, right? You come into the Yankee system. You guys win a championship right away. You're untouchable, and then you kind of progress through the minors from there on out, right? How has that mentality kind of progressed? What was it like level to level as you kind of got closer to the show? Did some things change for you, or did that lock you in a little bit more?
So like in the beginning, early stages, it was just like I want to keep moving up. I want to keep moving up. I'm gonna keep moving up. I want to be a big leaguer. That's the goal. It's not like you want to be a minor league baseball player. It was like we won the championship that year, so it was like next spring training. I went in there. It was my first spring training, so it's like really getting to see everyone, like not just the young guys. It's like everyone, big leaguers coming over for rehabs and guys who were in Double A, Triple A, who were just letting it like raw, like just nasty stuff. And it was the same thing though. It was the same mentality. I got to go in there. I got to go compete one game at a time, and I just enjoyed it. I didn't really stress about it too much, and yeah, I was hard on myself, but like you're your own biggest critic, and I actually learned that like I needed to stop doing that so much that like I did was able to just trust myself and go out there and just keep developing and just going out there every single time trying to do what they did, strike out as many guys as I could. Like that's was always my mentality. Is like I want to strike out every single guy that comes in here because like that's what the Yankees almost taught us. So my first year after I got drafted, I went to short season and I played pretty well, and then I got called up to low A Charleston. At the time was Charleston, and I had two great games. With my first low A start, I struck out 10, and then the second one I think I struck out 8, and it was like just two really really strong games to end the year. So I was like, all right, there's another little motivation to keep going. You have it, and it was another off season, good workouts, and but again, like not really knowing my mechanics exactly. Like I wish I took like videos and snapshots, but I was just doing it. I was just doing it, going out there doing it, not like taking notes and stuff. Just letting my natural ability go. And then that next year, I thought I was going to go to high A. I was pissed, and I got put back in low A. And I went out there and I struck out. I think I struck out 27 guys through my or no, I struck out 21 guys through my first two games. Yeah. 21 guys through my first two games, and they're like, "Yeah, we got to get this guy out of
Yeah,
here."
that'll play.
But I was pitching pissed off cuz I thought I just, but again, like you can't assume that you're just going to go anywhere. You
Yeah.
got to just go wherever you go, and you just got to go ball. You got to go give it. Like if it was triple A or low A, it does not matter. You had to go there and just do the same thing. And I always, I always kind of was able to get in a mode where, yeah, I'm nervous before the game, but it's like when I get on that mound, it's like I'm just a competitor, and you guys know me, like I'm a nice guy. Like it's hard for me to be mean to people.
Yeah.
Like it's hard for me to tell people no. But like when I'm on that mound, like you don't want to talk to me. Like
Yep. Yep.
I would curse. Like that's the only way to explain it. Like I am that type of person. Like you have to explain that person by cursing. But I was able to go from low A all the way up to double A. I had a spot start in triple A, which wasn't great. Again, trying to do too much. And again, being a young guy, just trying to go up there, and I just tried to throw harder, tried to do more, all that. But that year was good. I ended up in double A, and we won a championship there in Trenton. But I didn't get much time in the playoffs, but I was able to throw against some awesome arms like or players like Bohm and Moniak and a lot of those Phillies players. Vlad Jr. when he was with
Yeah.
Toronto,
Yeah.
and like Cedric Mullins when he was in Double A. So some like really cool like people I got to face, and after that year was awesome. Good year. And then the next year, uh, COVID happened. So COVID. So it was just a full off season, not knowing what the hell was going
Yeah.
on. And but again, I was like ready, and I felt good, and just stayed patiently waiting, but we never got to play. So that next year came in, and I was ready. Like I was
Yeah.
really ready. and I got put in Double A right off the bat. But then I got moved down because I wasn't performing great mechanically. Like it wasn't there. It wasn't like that foot down, gas pedal, like through all that type of stuff. It was like two seaman. I was rotational, not feeling good, but I get moved down, and like that lit like a fire under my ass of like it was like another moment in my career of like I can either get pissed off, but no, it like fueled me. I went on like a tear where I think I had like 8 wins in like a month and a half, two
Yeah.
months,
Yeah.
and player of the week twice, like I and or once in low A, and then I got moved up, and then my first outing back in Double A. Um, I got player of the week, like 7 innings, 10 strikeouts, in Double A, and then it was just like 5 weeks after that was just straight carnage of me on the mound,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and then just something happened where I was just like we were doing these huge evals with the Yankees, and they were telling us about like what we're efficient in, what we're deficient in, and like something I wasn't efficient in was my lead block leg. So I was just thinking about just like
Yeah.
getting it
Yeah.
down, and ripping through, and it just screwed my mechanics up. And like I got up to Double A or Triple A after having really good numbers in Double A off after pitching a combined no hitter with like Luis Severino and stuff. Like I got
Yeah.
moved up, and it just was just up and in, pulling it like not coming out the right way, and like they kind of like shut me down a little bit, you know? Like it was almost done the season, like it was like the September call up time. But like if I stayed strong and kept doing what I was doing and wasn't like doing more than I needed to, like I might have had that September call up that year
Yeah.
or a 40-man roster invite that year. But I kind of shot myself in the foot by trying to do too much, and it was another learning curve, which took 2 more years to figure out.
Yeah.
The mechanics were never back to where they needed to be because that next year I ended up tearing my oblique by trying to do too much.
Yeah.
And that year was kind of like getting back, got back into games, went through a tough split at that time too. So that whole year was just like I just put it in the trash.
Yeah.
But you learn a lot from it. I learned a ton. Like I learned that, and then I got into working on my mental game and jotting down notes and mechanics and everything, taking screen recordings of stuff and really loving it again and trying to figure it back out. And then got released to the Seattle Mariners, and all of it, man, just all of it is a huge. All of it was learning it, but if you have to look at it that way, you can't
Right.
be like, oh, here we go again. Oh, here
Yeah.
we go again. Like, but like I knew I wasn't competing because I knew what I expected out of myself, and that was just straight dominance on the mound, throwing fastballs by you whenever I wanted to, putting my breaker, splitter, everything, and it just took me a second to get that back, and it really all comes down to my mind, man. It was like going into my season last year for independent ball was like I want to get out of here quick, you know,
Yeah.
like I'm not going to be here long,
Yeah.
and that there was stressful and trying to push, trying to do too much, get hurt. And then that was when I was like, pause. Do I want this? I'm 28 at the time. Do I still have it in me? And I had a week where I chilled. I wasn't with the team, was relaxing, played video games, just relaxed for a week in Waldorf, Maryland. Just until I could start throwing again. And then week went by, felt a little bit better, lightly started tossing. I was like, you know what? If we're gonna do this, we're gonna do it right. We're gonna give it one more good shot. And I was like, I'm gonna throw from 90%. I'm gonna take a deep breath. I'm gonna throw from 90%, not throw like 100% max effort, nothing. And then my first outing, I was like 92, 93, and I was like, ooh, that's pretty good for the first one back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then the next one was like 93, 94, and I was like, okay. And then it just stayed there. And it was just like right there, but it was like, I was throwing harder. I felt better. My pitches were much better, but it still wasn't exactly who I knew I was, but it was also coming off an injury and all that. So this summer or this off season, I told myself going into it, it's all or nothing, but you're going to enjoy it. We're going to get the mental game down. We're going to have fun. You're going to teach. You're going to coach. You're going to spread your name out in South Jersey. Like I was working with pro guys. I was working with college guys. I was working with high schoolers. I was working with middle schoolers and elementary school guys. Like I've worked with every single age group this off season, and it's truly given me like another perspective on baseball. It's insane how hard I am throwing right now, and I still can't believe it. Like last week when I finished, it was like I've never thrown that hard ever on a mound inside in the off season. So it just shows what I'm doing. I'm in the right direction, and it takes a
Hmm.
long time to learn all this stuff. But now I know I did this all by myself. So uh, like it's so much more rewarding in a
Yeah.
way because it's like years and years of trial and error. Things went well, didn't go well, and but here I am still standing up and still attacking, still being able to play, but also just loving the game again. There was a point where the game was not the same. Like I didn't enjoy watching it, didn't enjoy thinking about it, and now it's like I get 8-year-old coming out to me like, "You're gonna make it this year, Coach Shawn." And I was like, it's like, thanks, dude. You know, like it's just a beautiful thing. Baseball is a beautiful thing, and obviously we know each other through baseball, and
Yeah.
just I just it's so weird. Like this all season, just compared to all the others, it's like why didn't I do this earlier? But
Yeah.
that's the question we always ask ourselves, and but I just couldn't be happier to like have this type of off season, especially after everything that's gone on. Like it's just been great. My girlfriend's been amazing. We started really talking last season, and she was a big part of like you're not done. You know,
Yeah.
having that
Yeah.
person like you said, like
Yep.
you're not done, and she's every day like out throw and go, like, and she's actually double A photographer for the Yankees
Well, that's awesome.
in Somerset. So she gets baseball. She gets my schedule. I get hers. So like having that person being able to like I threw 94 today, and it like no way. Like she was like just as hype as I was. So
Yeah.
like
That's awesome.
it just stuff like that, you know. And even like my parents feel like my mom like what like she knows how like every year it's like I'm looking. I always like make it a note. Like last year on my phone, I made a note as my background. I just put 95.
Yeah.
I never got it. Never got it. But it's just funny because like this year I have it. I'm
Yeah.
sitting that right now. And it's like that's what I wanted to do last year, but I just pressed it. I didn't trust it. I was just
Hmm.
pushing, pushing, pushing. This year I told myself I wasn't, and I'm doing that. So it just shows you the if you want to get something, you want to get there. It's like just it's the mindset. Like it's just be able to take that beating sometimes and be able to take those mistakes and better yourself from them to be successful. I mean, there's no success without learning from mistakes.
I mean, that whole off season is inspiring just from what you said, man. That fires me up. It makes me want to go throw right now. So, uh,
Oh yeah.
but um, no, you said two really important things. I said that I kind of want to get you to dive a little bit deeper on. But the one being like you talked about, you were kind of on the brink of like, do I hang it up? Do I not? Right? You kind of looked yourself in the mirror at that point, and Matt and I had talked about this in a previous episode where we were talking about like motivation, kind of what gets you out of bed, what inspires you, what makes you want to keep playing, right? And the aspect of like people doubting you, let's say in the beginning, right? Like Matt and I both thought earlier in our careers, like, oh, we're overlooked by X, Y, and Z, whatever. Like we were always like, that's the fuel that starts it, but that's not gonna get you to where you need to be, right? There's like a deeper level of like you just said, you love the game of baseball, you love talking baseball, you love giving back to people. What was it like this off season, kind of feeling that where it's like I'm gonna do this on my own terms and I'm just gonna I'm going to go out there and I'm going to throw and I'm going to enjoy every day rather than being like, I'm going to prove X, Y, and Z wrong. It's like now you're playing for yourself and not
Yeah.
to prove other people wrong, you know? Like, how'd that feel?
I mean, absolutely amazing. And at first, it was like weird because I was always working at ATS for years. I always went to CJ and worked with him over there, but I was starting to do my lessons. I was starting to work more, so I had to get in a different schedule. And
Yeah.
being able to just kind of get in my own schedule, and it was like I have to make my own workouts. I have to make
Yeah.
sure that I'm writing all this down and getting almost scientific about it.
Yeah.
So at first, it was like a little like play it by ear, like trying to just figure out things, what works, what doesn't work. Like I was lifting 4 times a week and I was beat tired from, and I
Yeah.
was just like, you know what, maybe I should lower it to 3. And I did that. And like, that was a great thing for me.
Yeah.
And it was like, hey, maybe I should start doing more jumps because I got to be more explosive. And I started doing that. And that was worked for me. But like being in that routine by myself, and it wasn't never like, I want to prove anyone wrong. I want to prove myself that I could
Yep.
still do it. And that's all it
Exactly.
was. And it's like, because I know where I was and how good I was, and now how I feel. It's like I know I feel better than I did at that point when I was, knocking on the door to actually make it to the big leagues.
Yeah.
And now I'm back here, wiser, a little older, but I feel much stronger. I'm faster. I'm jumping higher than I've ever thrown, like higher than I've ever jumped before.
Yeah.
But it just came to loving this game so damn much that I'm pissed,
Yeah.
like that I and like I'm obviously happy about my career, but I'm not fulfilled unless I get up there,
Of
unless
course.
I
Right.
get there. And like, cause I have buddies up there who, they grinded too, but like, I know how freaking dominant I could be on a mound. And it's just going out there and showing them again what I'm doing. But that's the thing. It was every day in the facility. And there's days, trust me, I was like,
Yeah.
this sucks. Like
Yep.
this sucks. Like there's days still like in the last couple weeks where I'm like, I just want to get to the season. I'm almost there. It's just
Yeah.
get me there. But it's just day by day, man. Just day by day. But the motivation was just knowing like it almost got more motivating as like I saw results, results,
Yeah.
results,
Yeah.
results. It was like, oh, I'm throwing harder than I did last year already.
Yeah.
That's good. And then a month went by and it's like, oh, I'm throwing harder. Oh, I'm feeling better. Oh, I'm jumping like 50 inches on a box. Like really just being an athlete and an explosive. And that all itself is just makes me motivated to go into this season, especially. And even just like talking to the guys at Paul Six, talking to the young guys and be like, how old are you? And be like, I'm 29. Like, well, first, so they don't have to, like, oh, where do you play? College? And it's like, no.
No.
Like, I'm like, I play professionally, but I'm in an independent ball, and they're like, "What's that? Like a men's league?"
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, "No, like I got drafted in 17 by the Yankees, like, and they're like cat.
Yeah.
They're like cat." And I'm like, but like those kids make me love baseball because they're
Yeah.
so naive to it all.
Of
And
course.
then when I show them and they're like, no, like he's that Coach Shawn is like legit. You listen to him. And it was weeks and weeks of them learning who I was, but also teaching them pitching. It was like those weeks I was so dialed into my craft of my mechanics and these kids' mechanics and
Yeah.
like just getting parents coming up to me and being like, God, like you do such an amazing job of working with our kids. And I started working with like one on one, getting kids that way much better. And like again, like I said, if I'm teaching them to do it, I better be doing it too.
Yeah.
And I mean, it baseball is a simple game. It's a kid's game. What I'm teaching these kids is what I'm doing myself. I mean, the weighted balls and stuff aside, but like I'm doing the long toss. Like I'm teaching them how to stay behind the baseball and rip through the seams. And we're not like coasting through. We're actually ripping down and through. And just, yeah, man.
Yeah. No, that's awesome, and I love that you're able to give back now too. Like,
It's the
I
best part of it. I mean, the giving back part is, if not the best part, because just being able to like talk to those guys at Paul Six, and like that's what I want to do every off season. I want to go to
Yeah.
high schools and go talk to guys and help them through tough moments that they're going through or help them be ready for those moments that they're going to go through.
Yeah, and having someone, I mean, we talked about this before, but like having someone that they can look up to that's like a big brother figure, like someone that's like, oh, he came to the same school as me, so that's achievable. It's just like putting it into perspective because, as a high school kid too, it's like I want to play professional baseball. Okay, well, what does that mean? And it's like you're like I have the blueprint of how you can get there. It's
But
just a
you got to
matter
do
of
that work.
yeah, are you going to put the work in to get there? Because it's like anything else in life. If you really want it, you got to really give it everything that you have.
Yeah,
At the end of
you
the
got
day,
to be fully passionate about it. Like
yeah,
it can't be like a fake passion. Like it's got to be like you
got to be
are
real.
mad at yourself if you didn't do like a little thing today to help yourself get better.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And the other thing you mentioned when you were kind of talking about your off season and like when you were pitching how you're a different person on the mound than you are off the mound, right? So we've talked about this idea before. I don't know, it gets thrown around in different verbiages, but it's like
Alter
the
ego.
alter ego effect. Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. So like I definitely was one. I needed that, right? Like on the mound and off the mound, I have to be two different people because one, I feel like it helps me clear my head off the mound. Like I could be like, all right, I'm Brandon off the mound, and then on the mound I'm Bizak, I'm Brandon on the mound, whatever. Like you have these two different versions of yourself. Where on the mound, like you said, you're probably someone you might not even want to hang out with off the field. But once you cross the line and you go back to your personal life, right? You like you said, you have your girlfriend that you spend time with. You have this other life, right? Like how important is that for you to have that alter ego effect? Because I played with kids that don't do that, and it's like them on the mound and off the mound. You're like, I don't really want to be around you because it's not the type of dude I want to be with. But like,
Yeah.
you got to have that divider. How important is that for you?
When you're out there, it's like Marshawn Lynch. Like
Yeah,
you either gonna like you're gonna get got or you're gonna get them before you get got. Like you got to go out there. Like I'm not saying like eyes are red, but like that's how I am. I'm listening to
yeah, yeah,
heavy rock.
yep,
Um, um, I just want to destroy everyone that's in my sight, and like I
agreed.
don't talk much. I mean, I talk like when I come into the mount, like into the dugout and stuff. But like again, guys, I don't look like an approachable guy. But trust me, like I never would be like, oh, but I mean, if you ain't focused, I will call your ass out. That's the thing. If you're out there and I will go up to you and I will talk to you, but I'm not gonna, in front of everyone. But I've had my times where I could be an asshole, and I
Yeah,
totally will take that, and then I hate those moments. But when I'm up there, it's heavy metal blast into my ears, even though I don't have my headphones in. Like I'm
yeah,
out there gripping and ripping, and it doesn't matter if you're the first batter or the ninth batter or like the mascot. Like I'm I'm going in there and I'm gonna kill you like baseball terms.
yeah, yeah,
But like when I'm off the field, I'm this like. I could talk to an 8-year-old being like, "Yeah, I play Minecraft. Like, how's your server? Like as simple as that, you know? Like, oh yeah, like what's your favorite Fortnite skin? Like stupid things like that. But then when you get on the mound, it's like, damn, Semp's a killer.
yeah,
And like my like when I would write down as my alter ego, I would put MF Bulldog, just like a mother freaking bulldog, man. Like, because that was like a nickname they would give me when I was younger. When I was
yeah,
like a bigger guy, they'd be like, "Yo, you're Bulldog." Like, it's
yeah,
probably because I was freaking huge and obese, but they're like, but that's just always how it was. It was like Frank was like, you got to be a bulldog out there. You got to
yes,
be a bulldog. You
yep,
got to be a bulldog. Like, don't show emotion. You got to be a bulldog. So it was always that bulldog, but like putting that MFer in front of it,
yeah.
it's like that's what I'm gonna be all game. I'm gonna be a MF and bulldog every inning, every pitch I throw out there.
That's awesome. I mean, yeah, the Bulldog thing is crazy because we ended up playing for the Bulldogs, but Shoot, I think you can hear that in your sleep. Be a bulldog from
Yeah,
Frank, man.
Yes.
yeah,
That's
all
awesome.
day. That's
That's
why when I
great.
immediately thought of like an alter ego, I was like,
Bulldog.
I mean, that's what I am. Like, I get hit, like I'm right back in there, probably throwing harder,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
even more pissed off, and like I fuel off of that. That's how I'm my best pitcher is when I'm have that adrenaline in there.
Yeah.
That's relentless, man. That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's awesome. So we talked a little bit about before we went on air, just kind of about like what your next step is or what your goal is, right? So if you want, kind of dive into what your goal is, where you see yourself going from here, and what you want it to look like.
yeah. The goal this year is get picked back up by an MLB team. Get my shot to the big leagues and bring noise, and
Yeah.
show all the years of who I've been and what I've crafted myself to be. And obviously, sometimes that doesn't happen, but I'm gonna give it all my everything I got this year. And but with this off season, I'm confident in what I'm gonna do. And whenever that time is when baseball is done, it's gonna get into baseball. I mean, it's still back to baseball. It's coaching. I was called by um, coaches this offseason asked me if I'm interested of coaching already. And I was like, I have one more year. I'm gonna give it everything I got. And like that, just having that mentality of like one more strong
Yeah.
year. Cause like I've given it everything I've gotten, everything I've had over the last decade. So what is it? One more strong year. And but baseball, when that's all done, coaching. I'll have my degree by the end of next fall, so in psychology. So I'd like to get certifications and start and continue to do one-on-one lessons with pitching, but also do seminars and one-on-one talks with guys on the mental side of being like a sports psychologist, and then just whatever here and there, man. I have so much things that I want to do. Like I used to stream video games. I want to stream video games again.
Yeah.
I want to I want to make clothes. I want to
Yeah.
make a bunch of just stuff, man. Have a gym that's my own baseball gym, and be licensed in working people out, having all those certifications, because I've been doing it for years. Like I worked with a guy this year. He's a independent pro as well, but like it was his first year of really having like scheduled lifts, scheduled throwing program, and I did it all myself. And like I could do that for anyone because
Yeah.
I've done it my for so long at this point. So I know baseball is in the future, and but I think it'd be more of a college route or just more independent still of just being one
Yeah.
on one guy running my own type of business. But I also love what I'm doing with USA Prime, and I hope
Yeah.
maybe down the road that I really have a big part of that of the pitching department. So
That's great, man.
Amazing.
yeah,
And I think that's a good place to wrap it up. And we really appreciate you coming on, man. You have
yeah,
such a
appreciate you guys, man.
dude.
It's
Yeah,
awesome,
seriously.
awesome talking with you guys. Seriously, like, and like we've been like recording for over an hour, but like just us here, like we picked up where we left off.
Yeah.
It's
Absolutely.
always how it always is.
And it is. And dude, I really appreciate you letting us pick your brain and you being
Anytime.
vulnerable enough to talk about all your obstacles that you had to overcome and like your story. Obviously, Matt and I got to see it firsthand and super inspiring. And you always have two big fans right here in both of us, and you and your
Big
career.
fans of you guys too, man. I appreciate you guys big time.
Seriously, no, and we're really appreciative for you coming on, and I have no doubt you're going to continue to have success, and you're going to go out and dominate this year, and then anything past baseball, like past playing, you're going to go into coaching, you're going to go into streaming video games, you're going to go into making clothes, like whatever you
Whatever it
want to
is.
do, we know you're going to have success, man. Seriously, just because of your mindset. So
Hell
really
yeah.
appreciate you coming on.
Oh, anytime, man. You guys ever want me back? I'd love to be here. You pick my brain at any time. But I appreciate you guys. Seriously do. Thank you.
Awesome.
Awesome, brother.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you, man.
Yeah.